What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Royal Ramble. I'm your host, as always, John Covey Cole. Got Mr. All Elite Wrestling Derek Jones here with me in studio. Brian Resner in Fort Myers, Florida. Guys, I learned a new place in Florida this week.
Look at Derek's AEW wear.
I
like
I'm
it.
jealous. See,
He's decked out. You would totally get kicked out of a WWE event for that.
That's right. And the only way you get kicked out of an AEW event, you wear John Cena merchandise.
Oh.
You know, when I went to the Impact Zone to watch Impact, they made even little kids take off John Cena T-shirts. That was the only thing.
Really?
You could not wear a John Cena T-shirt in the Impact Zone. They gave away free shirts to get them out of it.
That's silly.
Wow.
Yeah,
silly
even little kids, no John Cena shirts. Anybody else was good, no John Cena.
To each their own, I guess. Brian, how's the weather down there, buddy?
You know, it's actually cold. You know, I woke up 2 mornings ago for work, and it was 39 degrees.
Dude, it's like 2 here today.
I would love it to be 39 degrees
39
here.
would be great. That'd be like a heat wave.
But I mean, 39 degrees in Florida. That's pretty freaking cold for Florida.
Yeah, you're right. It is.
I didn't even think that it got 39 degrees here. When I woke up and it was 39, I was like, whoa.
Well, guys, we're not here to talk about the weather. We're here to talk about wrestling. You guys ready to get this thing started?
I am ready.
Well, as always, we are going to talk about our pros and cons from the wrestling world in the past week. For those of you guys watching for the first time, we tried to pick one pro and one con from the wrestling world in the past week, whether it be WWE, Impact, NXT, Major League Wrestling, SCW, Real Shoot Wrestling. It don't matter. One pro, one con. And I'm going to let you start the festivities this evening, Derek.
Okay.
So you go ahead. I'll let you pick if you want to start with the pros or the cons, my friend.
Let's start off on that negative note. Let's start with the cons.
Okay.
Let's talk about the men's Royal Rumble, the match as a whole. You know, we were talking about events before the show started being lackluster. How about that being lackluster? That was the worst Rumble I've ever seen.
I'm not with you on that one. I kind of enjoyed it. I mean, Jeff Jarrett coming out number 2 was kind of interesting.
So you had one surprise entrant at the beginning of the match.
Well, you had more than that. You had Gargano. You had Aleister Black.
Those are not surprise entrants.
You actually thought going in these guys were going to be in the Rumble.
I truly thought Gargano, Tommaso, Aleister, and Adam Cole, all 4 were going to be in the Rumble already.
I thought the dream was, but that's the only one I was like, yeah. When Gargano won the North American Championship, I was like, he's not going to be there. But he was. It was a surprise to me.
But even last year, you know, they had Andrade. When he was NXT champion, he was in the Royal Rumble. They've been pulling up guys from NXT to put in the Rumble. So to me, those are not surprises anymore. That's extension of your brand now. That's the same as Raw and SmackDown. Hey, here's our third brand. Let's pull a guy in.
Hey, you got a fan over here, Derek. Let's go ahead and throw this out here. Amy Kirk, I guess that's
actually Jimmy Bays.
Jimmy
right there.
Bays, what's up, my man? We had him here last week for the Royal Rumble. He says Derek is correct. Worst men's Rumble ever. Derek, Brian, do you feel the same way?
No, I don't feel like it was the worst Rumble ever. I think there were good parts about it. I think that having Kenny Omega be a whim of possibility is what made it a bad Rumble for everybody. I think that everyone in the back of their mind thought that we were going to get at least some type of surprise, and we didn't. And then they,
Jeff
you know,
Jarrett, brother.
Yeah, that just
J-E,
wasn't enough.
Double F J A double R E double T. Ain't I great?
Well, I'll tell you some of the things that were interesting to me for the entire Royal Rumble pay-per-view. I think there were more botches in the Rumble pay-per-view than any pay-per-view for the last 10 years.
Hey, Botchamania is going to have a field day with that. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. There were so many different botch spots, botch moves. It was crazy how many botches there were. But I think one of the main reasons why a lot of fans are really crapping on the Royal Rumble, 2 words: Nia Jax.
Well, real quick before we move on to that, because I'm sure that's going to be a conversation itself. Jeff Baker says if NXT is a third brand and not developmental, they aren't surprises. You guys look at his profile picture. I think it's actually a video. If you guys haven't seen it yet, go check it out. He pile drives this guy. I went to this show this past Saturday. He pile drives this guy on top of another guy. It was great.
I like your style, Baker.
Loved it.
I like your style.
Loved it. But yeah, about Nia Jax, I kind of I popped when she come out. Not necessarily when she come out. I was like, okay, what are we gonna do here? And when the guys started beating up on the woman, that's when I popped. I was like, okay, honey, you want to come out and play ball? Come play ball.
I did. Go ahead.
But see, to me, that was the only highlight of the match, was acknowledging intergender wrestling. If you want to be...
What about Mustafa Ali being one of the last 4 or 5 guys? That was great.
That was great. I like that they're giving him so much attention amongst all these, would-be world champions.
Well, I think that it definitely, I popped when I saw Jax taking, that first super kick. I was like, yes! And then the RKO, I was like, yes! But, all the backlash online about it, they shouldn't be doing this because of domestic violence.
Wrestling,
they
man.
Blah, 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 blah.
Wrestling.
Yeah, exactly. It is wrestling. And if she comes in for that equality push, she should equality get her teeth knocked down her throat. And that's what happened. And I think that was good for wrestling.
I enjoyed it. I mean, I didn't have nothing wrong with it. Like you said, there are these people out there that was frowning on it, giving it a hard time, whatever. I enjoyed it. I mean, it was something different. Did I think it was going to happen going in? No. I was like, okay, here we go. Something fresh. But what was your con of the week, Brian?
My con of the week was the ugliest championship belt I've ever seen in my life.
You talking about the hemp belt that Daniel Bryan released on SmackDown?
Yes. The hemp belt with the naturally fallen oak plates and the breadsticks on the side. It was terrible. That's the ugliest belt I've ever seen. I've never been a fan of anyone throwing a title away. The only time that I've ever been a fan of someone throwing a championship belt away is when Shane Douglas did it in ECW. That is the only time I will ever. What
about Medusa dropping the trash?
I was not a fan of that. I felt like because that was messed up. You don't do that. Medusa threw that title in the trash. So did she win the WCW Women's Championship? No, there wasn't one. So no, she didn't get that title. All she did was throw her legacy in the trash, as far as I'm concerned. And I'm surprised that the WWE ever let her back in the door to even tell that story. I wouldn't have. If I was Vince McMahon, you throw my title in the trash, I'm never letting you back on my show again.
I thought about this, Brian. Me and you were talking during this. I actually had to cut you off because I was running a little behind and I hadn't caught up yet. After watching it and after thinking about it, I'm okay with it because it fits Daniel Bryan's character right now. It's going to get him some heat. It's going to get him some heat, and that's what he's chasing right now. I'm not a huge fan of the belt, mind you, but I understand the gimmick. I understand what he's trying to do, preaching this and that.
Well, let me correct myself because I'm not hating on the promo. The promo was good. The promo fit the gimmick. The promo was really entertaining. Throwing the belt away was even entertaining, even though I'm not a fan of the act. But that was the ugliest championship belt I've ever seen. That's my problem. My issue is how ugly of a belt it was. And honestly, that was probably the goal.
See, that's the point behind all of it, because most people in the wrestling world, you said it last week, you're a belt mark. Tim Cross said it. He's a belt mark. I'm a belt mark. I can tell you my top 3 favorite belts of all time right now.
Winged Eagle better be one of them.
Winged Eagle is not one of them.
That's one of Brian's. Winged Eagle one of yours?
Wow. Winged Eagle's my number one. Always. Forever.
See?
Always and forever.
Sorry, Derek. You can be wrong.
Look, and that's fine. Everybody has their own. But
What are your 3?
The NWA World Title is my number 1.
That's my number 2.
Tradition.
Right.
Okay.
The NXT title, not the current one, but the Big X, the original NXT World Title, is number 2.
That's the X Division title, revamped one.
No, not even close. That is number 2. And then the Globe belt that Triple H carried in mid 2000.
That was cool.
I really like that belt.
Derek Riston
I don't
says,
like that belt.
Derek Riston, Brian, he says it looked like the 8th grade home economics project.
I agree with that 100%, Derek Riston.
We got a
For
Rambler
sure.
calling in. Hey, what's up? You're on with the Royal Ramble. Who we got?
Hey there, this is Joe Booney.
Hey, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
Good. I was actually just watching your video, and I've been watching the last couple of times on here, and I'm really impressed with you guys' wrestling thing, and I really think you guys are going to go really far in life with this wrestling talk and all that.
I appreciate it, brother. We're trying, man. We're trying to get the Ramble going, but it can't be possible without you guys. We appreciate you calling in, man. What's on your mind? Anything?
Well, my mind is, I'm actually a sports broadcaster, and I love wrestling, but I agree with the guy who was talking to you on the video chat, I think the Skype, about the Universal title.
Yes.
I think that's the most ridiculous thing what the WWE Universe is doing. They're making the WWE belt look like garbage after seeing Daniel Bryan have a phenomenal match against AJ Styles at Royal Rumble and coming on SmackDown and throwing that in the garbage. I think that is influence to the WWE, and that should not be. Then Daniel Bryan should give that belt away to Triple H so somebody can actually compete for that belt and have that title around that can fight every single Tuesday and off the road.
Well, let me ask you this. Kind of the same thing I'm throwing at Brian here on Skype that you mentioned. Don't you feel like it's going to better Daniel Bryan's character and get him more heat doing what he done, bringing this title on?
I like it, but, it's just Daniel Bryan, his act is just, it's gone too, the yes has gone too long, but this new act, I don't think it suits him, He's doing what he's doing. He thinks it's good for him. I just think that bring back the yes moment is better for the WWE Universe and for the kids out there who support him and having from yes and then coming back from injury and doing, being a bad guy. I think it went too quick, ever seen, remember John Cena. Remember when he was bad for a bit, then he came in good. That was way too fast. So it should be like 50 here and 50 there, not good and bad, every single time like Big Show. Because Big Show, he confuses the whole WWE universe.
Yeah, you don't know what the hell Big Show's doing. He could turn around in the ring and be a bad guy and then turn back around and be a good guy.
Yeah, it's like WWE completely forgot that the Big Show was even a part of the bar.
Where are you guys from?
What's that?
Where are you guys from in America?
We are in West Virginia, my friend.
Nice. I have actually a lot of friends from West Virginia who support me and all that. I'm actually Canadian.
We are in West Virginia here in the studio. Brian on Skype, he was from West Virginia. He's in Florida now, actually.
Is he?
Yeah.
Well, I love wrestling since day one, since I was 3 years old, and I got into wrestling. I'm a big sports fan, but sometimes I broadcast my show at my studio downstairs, and we talk a lot about wrestling, about Brock Lesnar and all of that. And to hear you guys come on, I have to call into the show, and I have to say to myself, you know what? These guys are going to go very far in life. And
I appreciate
you guys
it, brother.
really have the voice.
All right, man, we're going to have to hop off for Joe. Get at me there later on, brother. We'll chat some more. I got to address this situation on the Facebook here. Ramble on, brother.
Okay, take care, buddy.
All right, Jeff James, I like you, dude, but John Cena has been a heel. I don't know how long you've been watching wrestling, but he was a heel for what, like at least 4 months or so, right?
He was a heel for a little while, yeah.
He was a heel for longer than 4 months.
Yeah.
I mean, almost the entire rap career thing of John Cena. If you remember correctly, John Cena's raps were so entertaining that they turned him face.
Absolutely.
The raps turned him face because even originally he was a heel with the rap gimmick, and he was so entertaining.
He was a what?
He was a heel, no gimmick infringement.
Can't take you nowhere. Be proud of you.
Hold on, while we're on that topic, I got to tell you something.
You mad at me?
I'm mad at you.
Oh God!
Because you do it here in studio,
right.
And now I got somebody at home doing it to me. Looked at me last night and she said it's because I'm a heel.
He's a heel.
Like, why'd you do that? It's your fault, Cody.
Wow.
Let's move on, guys. My con of the week was Ronda Rousey's promo. Man, that was rough. I remembered in that promo that I didn't like Ronda Rousey when she was in the UFC just because of how she acted to other people. I'm a big advocate of respect, and whenever she used to go out there and not shake Holly Holm's hands and different other fighters, whatever, it's supposed to be a respectable sport. Okay, cool, whatever. And then she gets out there and she just expects the crowd to cheer her because she's Ronda Rousey. And then once they don't, she's all tore up. Bailey had to come out and save her. And I just wasn't a fan of it at all. And you know, she could still get that back, but if there's enough people out there that seen it and was paying attention, they're gonna mess with her.
Yeah,
they're gonna mess with her.
Well, I disagree with what you're saying simply because of the fact that I think Ronda did a better job with her promo on Raw than she's ever done with any promo. And I myself, I'm not a Ronda Rousey promo fan. I don't hate her. I don't have a problem with her in her spot. But when she said, "I own this ring and I own the ground I walk on," I was like, "Wow, that's something that I like. That I like that I own the ground that I walk on. That is a cool line. I don't care who you are, even if she stuttered a little bit, she's getting better. And I own the ground that I walk on." It gets a thumbs up from me.
Yeah, but even leading up to that, she struggled to get anything out because she let the crowd completely control the segment. All she had to do was continue to talk, and either they would continue to boo or they would stop and listen.
But that one line, you have to admit, if that one line was worked into any promo, it would be solid.
But she didn't sell it properly. She rushed through it because she was scared to death.
She was.
I had to rewind it to hear what she said. She was.
And like I said, I'm not saying that she did a great job. I'm just saying she did a better job than she normally does.
Okay. So, once again, you can be wrong. That's fine.
So basically somebody in the back wrote her a really good line, and she almost didn't deliver, but she did.
Right.
Tell you what I think of when she said that. I automatically went to Michael Jackson's video where he's stepping on the tiles and they're lighting up. She owns them now. That's just where my mind went. I don't know. It's kind of weird, I guess.
Always goes to music with you.
It does. It always does. Let's move on to pros, Brian. Would you like to start those festivities?
Sure. I will start pros, and my pro is very special to my heart. And I'll tell you what it is.
Okay.
R-Truth winning the United States Championship is my pro because, and I will tell you why. I see you already shaking your head, Derek. He's a former NWA World Heavyweight Champion who has been misused for a decade. The man is 50 years old and in top physical shape. He is in better shape than probably 60% of the roster.
He's cut up. I'll give you that.
He's an amazing performer. He's hilarious at what they've given him. He doesn't have to be hilarious because, honestly, he was an incredible heel. He was an incredible face. And he was an incredible NWA World Champion. He beat Ken Shamrock, for God's sakes. And now to see them finally give him something, even if it's only going to be for a week, which it probably will be. Somebody will probably beat him really soon. But he got a win over Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev in the same night. Not to mention R-Truth is my homie. We've hung out plenty of times. He actually stayed the night at my house one time. That was pretty awesome. He was stuck in West Virginia on Bridge Day, and there was no hotels. And he had a 11-hour drive ahead of him, and it was like 3 a.m. And that's when he realized that the promoter at the time did not secure his hotel room that he said that he did. And, of course, you're not going to get a hold of him at 3 a.m. So we were leaving a bar where we were doing a signing and after party thing, and he realized he didn't have a hotel, and his only option was to come crash on my couch with Sonny Siaki, Elix Skipper, Young, and that was a great night. I ended up becoming friends with him, had plenty of conversations with him. Since then, he's been booked in West Virginia probably 4 times that I've been a part of. And I consider him a friend, and I'm very happy for him. Just like I would be happy for anybody that got to experience what he experienced last night. I
have never had a sleepover with R-Truth, but I have had a couple sleepovers with little Jimmy. Just a few. Actually, I'm going to play off that, Brian. That's very similar to my pro. It has to do with R-Truth. but not necessarily R-Truth himself. It's just that finish. When's the last time you seen a surprise roll-up finish like that for the title out of nowhere?
Right.
And,
Well, normally Bret Hart was involved when that happened.
right. And I marked out for it. I ain't gonna lie to you guys. I was like, what? At first, my first thought was okay, that wasn't supposed to happen. And then I was like, well, maybe it was supposed to happen. Maybe Shinsuke's wanting to take the United States title back to Japan with him, and Vince is screwing him. No. Okay, I like this. We can do this. There was a lot of thoughts going on in my brain. But ultimately, my pro was just the finish of the match because I didn't see it coming. Did you see it coming?
I did not see it coming.
If you tell me you did, I'm going to call you a liar.
I didn't see it coming.
What was your pro? I know it wasn't R-Truth.
It wasn't R-Truth, and I want to tell you why I was shaking my head before I go to my pro. And it's not because I don't feel like R-Truth is very well deserving of that belt, because I do like R-Truth. I loved him when he was in TNA, when he beat Ken Shamrock. The promo that he cut the week after that is one of my favorite promos of all time. He come out and he said everything about himself being great. He said, I look like a star, I smell like a star, I walk like a star, and I am a star. He was a heel, and it was perfect. He was so good at it. I loved every second of it.
You guys ain't going to let me get that over.
I'm not going to let you get that over. No, not even for a second. So it was great. He's phenomenal in the ring at any age and at any point in his career. He's always been good in ring and on a microphone. I shook my head for the simple fact that they did not allow him to build to that properly. It was a one-off match that, like you said, in a couple weeks he's probably going to lose it to somebody else.
I knew he was going to beat Rusev when they did that. I was like, yeah, okay, he's going to win here.
So why not let him do that 3 weeks ago, carry it into the Rumble being the champion, get a little bit of notoriety, and then lose it a couple weeks from at Elimination Chamber? Why not let him go month to month or something? Give him a little something extra.
To me, it feels like they were like, okay, Truth, I know you're number 30 in the Royal Rumble. We're going to have Nia Jax beat your ass. Now, after Nia Jax beats your ass, we're going to let you win the United States title. And he was probably like, oh, great, I'm going to be the Raw champion.
Cody Smith here on Facebook says, I think roll-up signature moves and bigger moves should end more matches, making matches more unpredictable and have less kickouts on finishers. I agree 100%, Cody.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of false finishes, so I don't know if I agree completely, but I do like
false
roll-ups.
Finishes, but they do them way too often anymore. I mean,
well, they do them at the wrong times.
Yeah.
They do them before the match even gets built. Like, now, if you get a match that's really hot and there's a lot of false finishes, it's exciting because you just don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
But
that's what I like about them.
They're doing it the first 5 seconds of the match to start it off, and it just gets old quick.
So what was your pro, Derek?
So you guys are going to hate my pro.
We might.
You're going to hate my pro. My pro is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Becky Lynch.
Well, I'm not going to hate on that.
Becky Lynch winning the Royal Rumble, and not just because Charlotte didn't, but the whole way she got into it, the way she was in the match, before, after, during, her promos on Raw, her promo on SmackDown. Everything she did in those 3 days.
Let me ask you this. I've seen some talk about it on the internet here in the last couple of days. Does it hurt her credibility at all that she tapped out to Asuka? In a perfect world, I know it's
how many world champions have tapped out to Kurt Angle?
But Kurt Angle's Kurt Angle.
And Asuka's Asuka.
I'm not going to discuss this right now because I'm just going to put over the fact that tonight we're going to have the very first Resner's rant. And Resner's rant is about the state of the women's division. So I am not at liberty to talk about this right now. But make sure that you stay tuned to the end of the show to find out what I think about Becky Lynch.
I think what Becky Lynch has done over the past few days has overshadowed the rest of the women's division.
Oh, absolutely.
She has set herself...
It wasn't just the last couple of days. It's been the last couple of months.
It has been, but everything she did in those days completely wrapped it up.
Hey, we got a call coming in. Let's see who we got. Hey, you're on with the Royal Ramble. Who we got? Hello?
Hey, yeah, sorry about that bad connection. Can you hear me pretty well?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Yeah, I was, since we're on the topic of Becky Lynch, I was going to see what your opinion was that they could possibly be adding Charlotte to the match for WrestleMania.
I think it's almost inevitable the way they did that on SmackDown last night. I think it's bound to happen.
So you want to know why they're going to add Charlotte to that match?
Why?
Well, not really why, just your opinion on it. See, to me, my opinion, which everybody's got one, I could be wrong in somebody's eyes, I could be right, but to me, I think if they add Charlotte, it's going to, I think dilute would be the right word. They're going to dilute the match by having, it's like when they added Chris Benoit to the match in WrestleMania 20 when Shawn Michaels and Triple H were having such a good, strong rivalry. And right now, Becky and Ronda, Ronda has never lost. Becky is the hottest thing right now, and everybody is
Ronda has lost.
Has she lost?
Yeah.
A clean one-on-one?
Yeah, she lost on Raw a couple weeks ago.
She hasn't lost since she's been. She lost.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Well, still
good.
yet, though, even though she
ago.
has lost, let me put it like this. When she has lost, she's currently got pretty much, it's debatable that she has the most momentum going into it right now, and I think if they add Charlotte to it, they might give the Roman Reigns effect, one might call it, where she gets added to everything and anything here that's relevant. Now, that's just my opinion, of course.
So I'll go ahead and tell you why Charlotte's been added to that match, or going to be added to that match at WrestleMania, and it's because they want to protect Ronda if she leaves and would decide to come back, because Ronda will lose at WrestleMania the belt, but she won't lose the match. They'll have a fall person in there. So either Becky or Charlotte gets pinned by one or the other. Ronda will go untouched.
That's possible.
That's the reason that Charlotte gets added to that match.
Hey, who we got here, caller? Who
Sure.
is this?
This is Cody, the person that just commented on
Oh,
the
cool, man.
false
Cool.
finish.
Appreciate you calling, bro.
Yeah, man.
All right, ramble on. He's gone. I'll save that women's talk for you after a while, Brian. I know you got a lot to get off your chest with the rest.
I do.
We'll actually move on and just talk a little bit about some other stuff going on out there in the wrestling world. Speaking of Ronda Rousey, it was reported that she forgot to bring the Raw Women's Championship to Raw last week. And it was also reported she was taking a break after Mania. She's still under contract for another 2 years. How the hell do you forget your belt?
Well, apparently her and Brock both carried replica titles out that week. They both had replicas. But Ronda's is being talked about. Brock's is not.
Oh, Brock didn't have his either? What the hell's going on here? First we're forgetting belts, and the next thing you know, we're throwing belts in the trash can.
Well, Asuka used to do that all the time when she was the NXT Women's Champion.
She don't speak
When
English, though.
When she was the Women's Champion in NXT, it was blatantly obvious for any belt collector. You knew Asuka's carrying a replica.
Yeah.
Every time she came out, she was with a replica. I'm not sure what the deal was. I don't know if she was forgetting them. If they just didn't trust her with it. I'm not sure. But almost every time that Asuka came out, she had a replica title in NXT.
That's crazy to me. Let's move on forward here. Probably the biggest news out this week, in my opinion. Dean Ambrose is reportedly not re-signing with WWE when his contract is up after WrestleMania. He reportedly declined a large money deal and wants out. He's fed up with his creative, is what they're saying. Hideo Itami also wants his release.
I'm pretty sure he got it.
Did he get it?
I'm pretty sure he got it. He tweeted out a thank you.
Back to Kenta, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what his name change was on there.
You know he's going to All Elite Wrestling.
He's going to All Elite Wrestling. That's right.
Do you think Dean Ambrose will be a big enough impact for All Elite Wrestling if he does go there?
Jon Moxley could be AEW's first world champion.
I don't feel like he's going there.
You think they're working us, man?
I think Dean Ambrose wants to try his hand at acting. I believe that's the whole reason why he wants to walk out the door, so he can dedicate himself to something else. Now, I could be completely wrong. Don't get me wrong. I don't have any information here, but I honestly don't think he's leaving the WWE to go to AEW. But here's something I wanted to mention: is how freaking weird is this announcement? I've never seen the WWE ever announce that somebody's not signing a contract and that they're going to be gone in April.
That's why part of me is thinking that this might be a work, because
It may
they've
be.
never done this before.
Never in the history of wrestling. Now, I've seen them give their best future endeavors.
Yeah.
I've seen
After
them do
the
that
fact.
to plenty of people. after the fact. Never before have I seen them promote the fact that somebody is leaving.
Maybe
that makes no sense.
It could have been a real heated discussion. I mean, it might not have been very, hey, you guys, I'm probably not going to re-sign. I'm just not happy here. Maybe it was, I want this, this, and this, and they said no, and he said, okay, then bye, and pissed somebody off, so they said, okay, bye.
Maybe it's a piss match right now. Is that what you're saying?
Maybe.
Could be.
No. Why would they do that? That's like cutting your nose off to spite your face. If you're the WWE, why would you do that? Oh, you're mad at Dean Ambrose, so you're going to promote to AEW that he's, available? That doesn't even make any sense.
It makes total sense, Brian, because if they're both having a pissing match and Dean Ambrose says, I want this or I'm leaving, WWE's like, all right, you can't have it. See you later, bud.
Well,
you think we're playing? Let me go ahead and put this out here on the interwebs. Let everybody know you leaving because you can't have your way.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then why is the WWE literally kissing everyone's ass? Even people they're not even using. People they're not even using. They're kissing their asses and cushioning their contracts to keep them. Why? Why would they not do that, Ambrose? Chances are, I mean, they offered him a 5-year deal that was for a good amount of money for 5 years, and he said no. It's not like it's a pissing contest. Oh, we'll tweet this out, right? No way. They want to keep Dean Ambrose just like they want to keep everybody. I have inside information in the WWE. My inside information tells me that Dean Ambrose is not the only person who hasn't signed a contract.
Well, AJ Styles, his contract's up in April as well.
Right, and AJ Styles hasn't re-signed. I know of at least 5 people in the WWE that have been offered contracts and have not signed them and don't plan to. They're planning on renegotiating, and those renegotiations have not taken place yet. Now, if all these people have declined signing a new contract, why is Dean the only one that gets an announcement? Doesn't make sense. Something is weird about this situation.
Well, let's move on. We can stay there all day. Abyss, Sonya Dutt, and Shane Helms are going to be producers at WWE. I didn't see the Shane Helms coming, but I seen that yesterday. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, he's there. He's doing it.
That good on him, But it's like you said with the wrestlers, Brian. WWE is snatching up everybody they can just so they don't go to compete against them.
That's true. Don't think necessarily that I don't know, but I don't think necessarily that was the greatest idea ever. Like, hey, let's go get Sanjay Dutt, Abyss, and Shane Helms to come be producers. Hopefully it leads to them doing something other than coming out in a suit like Fit Finlay or Adam Pearce. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm a huge Sanjay Dutt fan. I'm not the biggest Abyss fan. I would have liked to have seen Abyss in the Royal Rumble, but something told me they were not going to bring out greater value Mankind at Royal Rumble.
Chris Jericho is going to be returning to New Japan. It's rumored they want him for at least 3 more matches. I'm sure that had a lot to do with him signing with AEW. They're just like, okay, go do the other stuff, whatever. Ring of Honor star Jonathan Gresham has started doing tutorials on YouTube to teach up-and-coming wrestlers different holds. How do you guys feel about this? I wish I had a veteran worker on the show tonight to ask them how they feel about this.
I think it's terrible. It completely kills kayfabe.
Well, I mean, kayfabe's kind of ever since Vince's little this is sports entertainment ordeal years ago, kayfabe's kind of took a back burner to a lot of wrestling.
Well, you know what? I think it depends on what he teaches them. If he teaches them the proper way to lock a hold, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with me teaching you how to properly do the sharpshooter. There's nothing wrong with me teaching you how to properly do the figure 4 leg lock.
I wish I would have seen you do the sharpshooter in that bar fight, man. I would have loved to have seen that.
It was incredible.
I bet it was.
But anyway, if Jonathan Gresham's teaching someone how to throw a punch without actually hitting somebody, if he's teaching them how to take a fall without actually getting hurt, something like that. If you're exposing the business, piss on you. If you're not exposing the business and you're just teaching someone how to apply these holds in real life, I don't have a problem with that.
That's fair.
WWE is getting heat for advertising John Cena for the Royal Rumble. And I'm sorry, if you're out there marking out, getting mad because John Cena wasn't at the Rumble when he was advertised, go to hell. Card's subject to change, brother. That's the oldest wrestling trick in the book.
I did think it was kind of weird that they were like, he's being replaced by Braun Strowman. And every single fan was like, Braun Strowman wasn't in the Royal Rumble to begin with?
So in reality, he got replaced by somebody from NXT or something. Or Jeff Jarrett.
For sure. Because Braun Strowman was definitely going to be in it regardless. I don't know why you would even say Braun Strowman's replacing John Cena. You might as well say, Jeff Jarrett is replacing John Cena.
Here's some interesting stuff that's got my gears turning. All Elite Wrestling has another press conference set for February 7th in Las Vegas. And Kenny's contract is up at the end of April. Do you think we will see a Kenny Omega sighting at All Elite Wrestling press conference February 7th?
No.
No?
Did you say Kenny Omega's contract's up in April?
Yeah.
Kenny Omega's contract's
end of January. No, not April, January.
Yeah, it was
I was
January
gonna say, yeah.
23rd or something.
Yeah. Did I say April?
No,
Yeah.
It's February 1st is what I heard. Maybe we're all wrong.
End of January is February 1st, Brian. Don't be that guy.
Well, no. Derek said the 3rd of January or something.
23rd.
23rd of January.
Yeah.
23rd of January.
Look at
I
that.
heard
You
it
can't
was-
trust anybody with a beard like that.
You
I
can't
heard it
trust
was
a man that
1st of
doesn't grow
February.
beard.
Who knows?
He's not committed to anything.
That's a good thought.
I'm committed. It just won't grow.
But I don't know if they'll...
He's got too much ginger in him.
I don't know if he'll show up or not, but I wouldn't. I would not have Kenny Omega at that press conference.
Why?
I would hold off until the last possible minute. The day that tickets go on sale is the day that I would promote Kenny Omega.
I agree.
Okay.
That's how I do it too.
Fans were forced to remove their AEW apparel at the Royal Rumble.
Did you notice there was an AEW shirt on SmackDown right front and center?
Yeah,
I did.
like right there, just seeing it the
I
whole
wonder if
time.
they've given up already or if they missed that guy. What do you think?
I know there for a while they were making everybody take them off at the door, and then they were getting them when they hit their seats. Eventually, they're going to have to give up on it.
Honestly, I believe they did give up on it on Sunday. I think was the last day they were going to do that because of all the crap they got online about it and all the videos that were and all the noise that made and how even Matt Jackson commented about it. I mean, the attention was brought to it, so I don't think they're ever going to do it again. I think that that AEW shirt being front and center on SmackDown proves that WWE's not doing that anymore, or else they would have got that guy. I mean, he was on every single screen. Every time that they showed the match dead on, boom, there's that AEW logo.
It's rumored that there's no match scheduled for The Undertaker this year at WrestleMania. How does that make you guys feel?
Great.
Ecstatic. Like, I think the only way that I want to see Taker at WrestleMania is in a Hall of Fame capacity.
I don't think that they're going to stick with it though. I'm going to end up throwing him in a match, even though he's not now. I think they'll end up throwing him in a match.
I don't care. I just hope it's a good show.
Put him on the pre-show.
Oh yeah, that's not going to happen ever in life.
There's new page leaks coming. Anonymous person says that there are more pictures coming. I don't know if that does anything for you guys or not, but
what's left to see of Paige?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else you could. I don't know what else the only thing that would make new page links shocking is if they're with a different rep. That's the only way. I mean, we've already seen we've already seen everything she has to offer. I can't imagine seeing anything else. What?
New guy with a new belt?
Yeah, new guy. That's the only way it's going to work. Is if it's a new guy or a diva. Maybe it's with Bailey.
All right, guys, that was a few things going on in the wrestling world. We're going to take a quick commercial break and come right back and talk about our weekly topics. So stick around.
February the 8th, Marmet, West Virginia, Marmet Rec Center. You're going to see yours truly, the AIWF World Heavyweight Champion, Mr. Darkstorm, taking on a prominent member of Sports Entertainment Express, Crosshairs Kelly. And Crosshairs Kelly, I've picked you to issue this challenge because you seem to be the most excited. You seem to be the most upbeat. You seem to be the most into attacking people from behind, kicking them in the face. I'm going to take you guys out one by one for what you did to me. It starts with you, Kelly. It ends with you, Nate Rose. Kevin, Rocky, you aren't safe either. February 8th, it's me and you, Kelly. I'm going to beat you in front of all your homies. And there's two things you can do about that. Actually, one. Nothing.
"19 years ago, January 31st, year 2000, on Raw's War from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, former WCW World Champion Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Perry Saturn, and Dean Malenko all made their company debuts, running in during a tag match between the New Age Outlaws and Head Cheese, Al Snow and Steve Blackman. In a bit of a sidebar, Eddie Guerrero injured his elbow hitting a frog splash on Billy Gunn. Jim Ross dubbed the foursome as Radicals, giving birth to the stable's name. On the same show, The Rock defeated Kurt Angle. This was huge because this was Kurt Angle's first pinfall loss in the WWF. Also, Hervina. Remember that name? Well, that was Harvey Whippleman in drag. He defeated the Cat in a lumberjill match to win the WWF Women's Championship. This was this week's Week in Wrestling History with John Covey Cole. All right, guys, welcome back. We told you guys we was going to be talking about this all week long. If you had to fire 10 people in the WWE, who would get their pink slips? This was actually Mr. Resner's idea. This was a lot harder for me than I thought it was going to be, because I didn't want to go and just fire some people on 205 Live that I don't watch, or fire people on NXT that I haven't seen work, or fire people in NXT UK that I don't watch. So I try to stick to the main roster with my firings. And we're not going to give all 10 at one time. I think that's a little much.
Okay.
I think we're going to start out, we're going to give 5 apiece, then we'll give our other 5.
Okay.
So I guess I'll go ahead and start since I'm already talking about it. This is no particular order really, but both of the Colognes, they're gone. Sorry.
Primo and Epico.
They're good, but I mean, just the writing that they've had.
They barely missed the cut on mine.
Another one is Mojo Rawley. I feel like he could be good if he'd give it enough time and a good program. I still don't know why they didn't do Mojo Rawley and Zack Ryder in a little program. There was really nothing there, if you remember. Mm-hmm. They broke up and that was it.
It was done.
I don't get it. And then 2 more for me to give my 5 is Connor and Victor, because it was hard for me not to pick all tag teams because I hate the way WWE has done tag teams. I did enjoy the 4-way tag this week on WWE TV. That was nice and fresh. It's going to be nice to see the New Day. I hope they beat Miz and Shane. I hope either one of those turn on the other one soon, because I don't want to draw it out anymore. Dad done come out. I'm proud of you, son. Okay, we're past that. Let's get to where we're going, guys. Yeah. But that's my 5. Derek, what's your 5?
So mine are in a particular order. I'm going.
Oh, top 10.
I'm going 10 to 1.
Okay.
So number 10 is Ronda Rousey, and it's after her promo on Raw.
But she draws money.
Wow.
No, she don't.
Sure she does.
If Ronda's not on Raw, are you still going to watch?
Yes,
all
but
right,
there's
then.
fans
She doesn't
out
draw.
there. There's fans out there
No.
that started watching Raw that were MMA fans that knew who Ronda Rousey was and wanted to see her on Raw. There's people out there.
No, there are people who now understand who Ronda Rousey is because she showed up on Raw. They looked into her because she's there. They're fans of her because she's there. You could replace her with anybody from any other sports organization. You could bring in Holly Holm. You could bring in Sarah McMahon. You could bring in any of those females from the UFC.
I
thing
disagree.
Thank you, Brian. I do too. Thank
none of those women. There isn't a single MMA female out there with a name like Ronda Rousey. There is no one in MMA creation that could replace Ronda Rousey right now.
No one.
Chris Cyborg can replace Ronda Rousey.
Chris,
the house name brand of Ronda Rousey, no, Chris Cyborg cannot replace Ronda Rousey.
That's what I was going to say. That's exactly what it is. Household name. Ronda Rousey is, no one else is. No other female in MMA history is a household name other than Ronda Rousey.
Anyway,
Ronda's gone. We're going to
stay here all night. Ronda's gone. Derek's fired Ronda.
Ronda is gone.
I'm anxious to find out these other 4.
Number 9, okay. No Way Jose.
Okay, he was almost on mine.
He does nothing for me anymore. He's as you like to call, he's Adam Rose light with his rosebuds and his conga line. Yep. We've seen it. They've done it. It didn't work. Move on. Go to something else. He's talented in ring, but they're not using him for anything. So why waste our time?
Gotcha.
Number 8, Mojo Rawley. I told you last week we'd have at least one crossover. There's probably our one. They didn't do anything with him and Zack Ryder because there's nothing to do. Nobody wants to see Mojo. We're not hype. Number 7.
I wanted to see Mojo versus Robert Gronkowski. That's what I wanted to see. They were buddies at WrestleMania, and I bet you we still see that. Mark my words.
I hope not.
I don't think it'll be this year, but if Rob Gronkowski retires after the Super Bowl this year, next year's WrestleMania, we'll probably get a Mojo Rawley versus Rob Gronkowski. If not that, it'll be a tag match with them two versus somebody else. I'm just saying. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Number 7, Titus O'Neil.
World Slide?
Titus World Slide. He's known for a botch now. They didn't use him right. The best run I think he ever had was with Heath Slater.
The best run he had was down that ramp sliding under the ring.
See, you don't even want to talk about his wrestling abilities or his promo. You want to talk about that. Right. He's goofy. He doesn't belong. Number 6 is Lana.
Lana?
She's a waste of space.
She can't work.
She was great when she was the Ravishing Russian, and she was Rusev's, actual true valet before she went and completely.
She should never wrestle.
No, yeah. She completely ruined that with their wedding or engagement pictures or their vacation when they were supposed to just be in a professional situation.
Why is that going to be on her? Why wasn't that Rusev did that?
No, she did that.
Why you got to put that on her?
She posted them. It's her fault.
You leave her alone.
No, I want to fire her so she can post whatever she wants to, and it doesn't completely.
Was that your 5?
That's my top 5.
Brian, give us 5.
It's 10-6.
All right, here's what I got. First of all, I want to fire Rhino. Not because I dislike Rhino.
Boy Heath. That's all reason you fire Rhino.
Yeah, not because I like or dislike Rhino, just because I want to see Heath Slater do something awesome, and he can't as long as he's attached to Rhino.
Fair enough.
The number 2 person that I want to fire, I am with you guys 100%. Mojo Rawley. I have absolutely detested Mojo since day one. I can't stand him. And honestly, I'm a huge fan of the story time on the network. And I loved every single episode. The one story I hated was when Mojo Rawley told a freaking story. That was the dumbest one ever. And it just goes to show that he can't do anything right. We've seen him on Raw talking to himself in the mirror, blaming himself for all his faults, and I think that's the greatest thing he's ever done in his career. And it didn't even make any sense because he didn't even come out. He said, tonight it's going to be different. No, you didn't even show up. So, yeah, Mojo Rawley.
Real quick, Brian, before you give us your other few there, Derek Shambo was with you. He said, Ronda sucks in WWE, fire her. I think you both crazy. That's money. It's money.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't fire her.
Go ahead, Brian.
Next, the Street Profits. I liked it the first time when it was called Crime Time. Get rid of both of those guys. Fired.
Who's
fired?
The NXT guys?
Yeah.
I don't know these
It's one of the best teams they got on NXT.
I don't know.
Not in my opinion. I liked it the first time when it was called Crime Time. So yeah. It's
Crime
honestly it's just not my thing. I don't like the Street Profits. So that's 2 more down. And now I will also call in another NXT star and fire her, which would be Candice LeRae. I do not want to see Johnny Gargano's wife on TV. She sucks in the ring. She sucks on promos, and her outfit sucks. She sucks. Her outfit sucks. I want nothing to do with her.
Do you have your phone on a dog's tail by any chance? Because it just keeps wiggling.
I'm getting excited. I'm shaking. I'm getting excited. But you know what I pictured Candice LeRae, or is it LaRue or LeRae?
LeRae.
Yeah, Candice LeRae is the equivalent of Eddie Edwards' wife in Impact. They almost look alike, and they both suck, and they both should be fired. The only reason why they have a job is because they have a husband, and I would like to see her get fired.
Real quick before we move on to our top 5, do you think if Ambrose leaves, Renee Young's going to go with him?
No.
You don't think so?
She's way too comfortable, and she's getting that momentum now as a,
I think she
ringside
sucks,
commentator.
but
I like the change every so often with
It's
her.
something different,
I
yeah.
don't think she should be there every week, but I like the variety.
we've got enough
Honestly,
there,
you know
Goldberg.
what? I was a huge Renee Young fan before she became a commentator, and now that she is a commentator, I do not like it.
Oh,
I don't think she's a great commentator at all. And I loved her beforehand when she was interviewing people, and the fact that she was a wrestling historian. And I liked the fact that she hosted the pre-shows. I liked all that. But now as a commentator, I feel like she's just lost.
Brian, you have been officially kicked out of the Ramble. Teddy says, get the hell out. Candace is great. Do you not watch her in PWG?
No, I watch her on NXT where she works, and she sucks.
She's one half of the world's cutest tag team, man.
Yeah, well, I don't know who her partner is, but I'd fire her too. If it meant that I could get rid of Candice LeRae.
Joey Ryan.
Cody Smith says, Renee is cringy commentary. She sits there and says, oh, and that's it.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%, Cody.
All right. Let me get to my other 5 here. I'm going to get rid of Dana Brooke, even though she's a good jobber to have around to have somebody beat up on. I'm tired of seeing it. Derek, I'm also going to pick No Way Jose because I'm tired of the calling the line.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen it for the last 10 years, it seems like. Curtis Axel's going down the road for me, and this was a hard choice for me because I love what Curtis Axel, not necessarily just him, but his family as a whole has done for the wrestling business. And everything they put Curtis Axel in seems to be okay. It's fair. But I'm just tired of the funny Curtis Axel. I would like to see come back as Joe and do something. It can't be Joe. There's already enough Joes. I guess Roman Reigns is Joe now too. But I can't defend it. You guys can hate me if you want, but that's just who I come up with. Curtis Axel's got to go. Another one for me, you guys may or may not agree with, Zack Ryder. Zack Ryder's got to go. He's been there long enough. WWE, I think, screwed up whenever he got himself over on YouTube. I think they could have ran with that and made a lot of money off Zack Ryder. They didn't because they didn't create it. He created it himself. I think that's a lot of the reason why, but I'm tired of Zack Ryder. He's just a waste of space, in my opinion. And then the last one for me is Kurt Hawkins because, I'm not down with the losing gimmick, and I think a lot of these guys that I mentioned would thrive somewhere else. But WWE, they can't get over the hump. Just like my con was almost this week that there were no. Where the hell was EC3 on Raw? There was no 3-second clip or nothing of him. Where was I think Lacey Evans was the only one I seen on Raw this week. Other than that, all the other NXT call-ups weren't even there. And anyway, I digress. Derek, what was your other 5?
All right, so
Your top 5.
Just to touch on Curtis Axel, the reason you don't like him is because they messed up with him from the beginning with his name. And that's why he's a joke, because his name is a joke. Brian's talked about it before. He should have been labeled as the perfect son, Joe Hennig. And that's it. Leave him right there and let him be the legacy. Why? You bring Charlotte out and you definitely let people know her last name is Flair.
Sure. You got her out there wooing and everything else.
Cody come out, you knew his last name was Rhodes.
To not use his third generation. He's a third generation superstar.
That's right.
To not use that is idiocy. I don't know how anyone could say, "Hey, we're not going to use this." It makes absolutely no sense to me.
Anyway, your top 5.
So, number 5, Kalisto. Rey Mysterio's back. We don't need a placeholder to sell masks anymore. You can't do it. Like that's the only reason he's there.
Why not just get rid of the whole Lucha House Party?
Okay, you only gave me 10 spots though, so at least the other two guys can go when you let them. Kalisto's not that impressive to me. He's just not. So I'm getting rid of him quickly.
Okay. Number 5.
Number 4 is Akira Tozawa.
What's wrong with him?
He does nothing. It's old. I get it. You can't speak English. Let people know you can't speak English.
Speak English.
Get a translator.
You know what your list tells me this far? You didn't watch 205 Live last week.
I did watch.
And you couldn't have watched the Cruiserweight match at Royal Rumble.
I did watch.
Well, you going to tell me that Kalisto and Tozawa didn't impress you in the match at the Royal Rumble?
Not a bit.
Man, I loved it. I thought they were everybody did great.
They did the same things in that match that they always do, but they had 2 other guys to carry them.
Number 3, Derek.
Number 3, Cassius Ohno. He doesn't take his job seriously. I was a huge Chris Hero fan, but he does not take his job seriously enough to get himself in shape.
So you got a problem with Kevin Owens then?
No, he's getting in shape.
He is, finally.
He's finally thinning himself down. But he's always been that size. Now he's getting in even better shape. Chris Hero was a small guy, and he could move. Cassius Ohno looks like he's pregnant.
And that outfit is so terrible.
And that makes it even worse because he hides all of it. Put pants on. Put the Kevin Nash gimmick on. Wear something that hides it if you're ashamed of it. Otherwise, get rid of it.
Right.
So his gear completely would get him fired.
He reminds me of a kid in their underwear watching cartoons on Saturday morning. He's got his T-shirt and his underwear on. I don't dig it. It looks like a kid in his underwear and a basketball jersey.
There it is.
From the 90s.
Number 2, Derek.
Number 2, Michael Cole.
What do you mean? He's been the voice for the last 25 years.
I know, and
he needs to go.
He needs to go because the only thing he doesn't even know most of these guys.
Replace him with Mauro Ranallo?
Maybe, yeah.
I'd love that.
Yeah, that's fine. I could replace him with almost anybody else at this point because he does 2 things. He says the wrong moves at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Like when Sami Zayn first showed up, every move that Sami Zayn did was the Blue Thunder Bomb. Every move was the Blue Thunder Bomb. Or it was vintage Sami Zayn.
Vintage, yeah.
Everything you do is vintage. Just stop. Go away and stop. You can be a backstage producer. He did great for the NXT UK brand when he started that. The show was great. He produced it.
Oh, was that him?
He did all that, and it went off without a hitch. Good for you, Michael Cole. But your commentary, you got to go, bud.
He also runs all the Facebooks.
Right.
Oh, really?
Let him be their social media guy.
Yeah.
But
that was your number 2?
That's my number 2. So number 1, I dropped the spoiler last week, and it did not change. Number 1 is Charlotte Flair.
That's stupid, Derek. You're thinking as a fan. Think of a businessman right now.
I am. I could save a lot of money, and I could bring in someone else.
Oh, my God, Brian. I can't do nothing with this guy.
I'm sure that I could find another diva.
You're not going to find a Charlotte Flair. You're not going to find another Charlotte Flair.
Another diva, because that's what she is
now. You're going
to
tell me you would fire Charlotte Flair before you had the opportunity to bring in Tessa Blanchard and do that match?
That would be her go-home match. Feast or fired right there. Charlotte Flair loses to Tessa Blanchard to lose her job. And I'm sure Tessa can do a moonsault because that's all Charlotte does. And she woos. She moonsaults and woos. Garrett Coleman can do that.
You mean to tell me that you weren't entertained whenever she come out and was this snooty better than you laughing at Becky on SmackDown last night? You didn't enjoy that?
No, I hated it. She didn't belong there. She lost the Rumble match.
But that's
Go
the beautiful
away.
thing of her being there. She's like, ha ha, I'm still here. Screw you. Ha ha ha. It's the heel in me. That's what heels are supposed to do,
But
Derek.
she's not a good heel. She's just annoying.
Oh,
if you want to be a bad guy, be a bad guy. But don't just interject her everywhere possible.
Brian, what's your top 5? I can't do this right now.
Okay, you said Michael
Charlotte
Cole
Flair
could be replaced by almost anyone. Well, I do not believe he can be replaced by almost anyone. Well, I guess you said almost, so that counts. One person he couldn't be replaced by is the guy I want to fire, Byron Saxton. Please go home and never come back.
Like
Someone else I would like to see get fired and never come back on my television screen again.
This is your list, right?
Yes.
Okay.
David Otunga. See you later, bud.
Pre-shows though, right?
Yeah, I know. I don't want to see
Michael
him.
Cole does his commentary.
Leave.
We're getting rid of him.
Get out of here. Get out of here, David Tunga. Get out of here, Byron Saxton. And then I would also like to tag up on with yours and say, Primo and Epico, you got to go. And not because I dislike you, but because I feel like you could do something way better somewhere else.
Absolutely.
And another reason why you got to go is because if we're not going to bring Carlito back to start a faction, which is what we should have done since day one, if we're not going to do that, then send them home. We have no reason to spend money on these two guys that we are clearly never going to use. My last one that no one's going to agree with me on, but
it can't be no worse than Charlotte Flair, Brian. I'm just saying.
No one's going to agree with me on this, and everyone is going to think I am a insensitive prick for saying it. But if you've got anxiety attacks and you can't show up on Raw or SmackDown, go home, Lars Sullivan. You don't belong here. You look like a knockoff Greater Value brand Schnitzky. Is a Greater Value brand of Gene Schnitzky. Go home. Gene Schnitzky sucked. Why would a generic Gene Schnitzky not suck?
You know what Lars told Vince whenever he had that panic attack? He said, Vince, it wasn't my fault.
Yeah.
So Lars was actually the flip between Lars and Ronda, just so you know. That was my 10 spot. One of them too.
Let's go to Facebook real quick, guys. I'm going to check a couple up here. I've seen somebody had some. Sean Bowman says, number 5, Kurt Hawkins, Dana Brooke, Drake Maverick, Rowan, Ronda Rousey. I don't have a problem with Drake Maverick. Is he still doing the 205 Live gimmick too? Pick one. There's no sense in him doing both of them. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, please pick 205 Live because you're terrible at being the AOP's manager. One thing I'm really glad that they did though is make him stop dressing like them.
Yeah.
That was like having like it was sort of like, remember when Paul Ellering had the dummy, like the dummy that dressed like him?
Was it 92 WCW?
No, it was like 93 WWE.
I don't remember that. Sean's 10 through 6 was Rhino, No Way Jose, Mojo Rawley, Shayna Baszler, and Byron
Shayna
Saxton.
Baszler?
Right? How you going to get rid of Shayna Baszler? She's great. Bring her up to the main roster already.
Yeah, replace her with Ronda Rousey.
How about Shayna Baszler be the biggest draw for Ronda Rousey right there? How you going to fire Shayna Baszler? That don't make any sense.
Leonard Sims is tuning in. Evening, guys. What's up, Leonard? Good to see you, buddy. You're actually just in time because we're going to take a quick commercial break and we're going to come back with Resner's rants. So don't go anywhere. It's going to be interesting.
2 attorneys, 1 location. Gavin Ward and Josh Miller.
Hello, my name's Gavin Ward. I'm an attorney serving Southern West Virginia. If you need help with a real estate transaction or closing, probating an estate, a property dispute, estate planning, or bankruptcy, give us a call. We can help.
Hello, I'm attorney Josh Miller. I serve Southern West Virginia. If you've been injured in a car accident or hurt on the job or charged with a crime, please come see me today. I can help.
For a free consultation, call 681-207-7400.
Dorsey's Hog Tails, located on U.S. Route 60 just off of Route 19 and just past Midland Trail High School. There's always something going on at Dorsey's, and you can bet that whatever it is, it's a good time. Be sure to try some of the best food in Southern West Virginia. Then, you can sharpen those billiard skills with a relaxing game of pool. Dorsey's also offers some of the best live local music in the region on most weekends. So what are you waiting for? Stop in and see what makes Dorsey's so great. That's Dorsey's Hog Tails, located on U.S. Route 60 just off of Route 19 in Hyco.
Dunbar, West Virginia. International Combat Sports. Eric Darkstorm versus Mr. Zero Gravity. AJ Daniels. And with that said, Eric, I must say, this will be my first chance at the AIWF Heavyweight Championship. But with this first chance, I will not, I repeat, I will not let it slip through my hands. So come February, Eric, hope that you're willing. And I hope that you're ready to defy gravity. Because if not, you shall rest in outer space.
All right, it's time for Resner's Rants, and I've got a rant for you. My issue is, it's never been a secret that I haven't always been a big women's wrestling fan. But I was giving it a chance, and they actually got me. They got me when they brought in Asuka. Asuka changed everything for me, and I was like, wow, Asuka is incredible. And this is going to be absolutely awesome. We've got Asuka. She's on this big undefeated run, and she's not losing to anybody. Now she's headed to WrestleMania, and she's going to fight Charlotte Flair, which is someone else that I actually really like. But we're going to see Asuka beat Charlotte. She has to beat Charlotte. This is the storybook ending for Asuka. She's going to win that title. And when she wins that title, everything is going to be absolutely fantastic. But what happens? No, she doesn't win the title. She loses to Charlotte Flair. First mistake. So now you've lost me. Now, fast forward to now. Here we are with Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch is getting the biggest push of her entire career. Her whole career comes down to this moment where she is now the great one. She is the one that's going to lead us into the future. And what do? We take her to Royal Rumble, and we have her lose clean to Asuka. She loses clean to Asuka. And then she wins the Royal Rumble after losing clean to Asuka. Now, we're supposed to think that Becky Lynch has a snowball's chance in hell against Ronda Rousey when Becky Lynch lost to Asuka and Asuka lost to Charlotte. So why does everyone have to beat everyone once? Why can we not see any type of legacy? Why is there no legacy to be built? That is my issue. That is my rant. We're not building a legacy. And now you've got Ronda versus Becky, which doesn't mean as much. And you've got Charlotte's going to get involved in that match. That doesn't mean as much. And none of it means as much because we picked the wrong people to lose at the wrong times. Why couldn't have Becky Lynch lost that match not clean? Why couldn't she have lost by count out? Why couldn't she have been disqualified? Why couldn't have you done anything else other than what you did? That's Resner's Rants for this week. I'm pissed off at the women's division.
Why are you so damn mad?
Wow.
Do you need a hug?
I got to put my earphones back in because I couldn't talk while you guys were talking.
Oh, I didn't know you could hear us. The audience couldn't hear us, but I guess you could, huh?
Yeah.
I hope they couldn't hear us. If they did, they're going to find out where I keep my numbers. I'm with you on your rants to an extent, Brian. There's really no rationality about the whole Asuka. You know, if they're going to push her to the moon, great, cool, whatever. Then why have her lose her undefeated streak and then pretty much dissipate for another 6 months? Then all of a sudden, you're supposed to take her serious again by being the number one chick in the company at the time.
We're supposed to take Becky serious after she loses to Asuka clean and then wins the Royal Rumble, and she's supposed to be a big threat to Ronda Rousey. I would have much rather them kept Asuka undefeated and had her face Ronda Rousey.
Hey, Leo's got you back. He says, "Amen, Brian Resner."
Thank you, Leonard Sims.
And Jimmy Bay says, "Don't be pissed at the ladies division. It is WWE logic."
And that's where I was going to go with it. I mean, you're talking about building a legacy and actually building somebody up. They don't build anybody anymore. I mean, there's no long-term feuds anymore. There's just one and done. That's why I'm so pissed off about R-Truth's victory, because that's how they do things now. Flip a coin. Who are we going to give it to? How long are we going to keep him? Flip a coin. I mean, that's essentially what it feels like they're doing. You know, odds and evens 1 week, you know, maybe 3.
I feel like WWE writers, and I know I'm hardcore on the writers a lot of the times, and I think for good reason, but I feel like WWE writers are constantly, they're like that guy that you work with that does just enough not to get fired. That's the WWE writers as a whole. They're doing
if I don't know
just
that, if I don't know that guy, does that mean I'm him?
Yeah, if you don't see him, it's
maybe.
probably you.
But if you're doing just enough to not get fired, man, just quit. That's I've been listening to a lot of the Vince Russo podcast recently, and
Truth with Consequences, or Truth
yeah,
with Consequences?
Truth with Consequences, and it really, you know, I've got a love-hate relationship with Vince Russo. My rant was almost about Truth with Consequences this week. You know what's funny about that, and I will mention this, and then we can move on about it. Is he really the Bruce Pritchard when he acts like Vince Russo?
Real quick, Brian. Real quick, Jeff James. The number's been up there all show long, bro. You want to call in? You better call in. We're about ready to close the shop up. Go ahead, Brian.
When Bruce Pritchard makes fun of Vince Russo, I always thought that was funny that he was making fun of him. Then when I listened to the podcast, I found out that Bruce is just doing an absolutely accurate view of Vince Russo. Like, that is exactly how he sounds. When I first started listening to the podcast, I was thinking, wow, Vince Russo sounds like a guy making fun of Vince Russo.
We'll call this guy back. Something happened there.
We're calling people on the Royal Rumble?
He just tried to call and I missed it.
We're calling people. Hello, it's the Royal Rumble.
Jeff, he ain't gonna call, or he ain't gonna answer. That's all right. One monkey ain't gonna stop the show, right?
He just kayfabed you, bro.
He totally did.
It's like,
totally
forget
did.
John Covey.
If you guys aren't doing nothing out there this weekend, there's plenty of wrestling to go around. If you're in northern West Virginia, you got to check out Real Shoot Wrestling. Mickey Folk versus Cheeseburger. Dustin Alexander's defending his recently won Real Shoot Internet Championship against Chance Riser. So if you guys ain't doing nothing, go check that out. Let me try to get this phone again. J&J News, is this you?
Yeah, what's up?
What the hell just happened, man? I tried to call you back and I couldn't even get through.
I don't know, man. I'm on my work phone.
Uh-oh. Got on the shoot phone. You're going to get in trouble. What's going on, man? What's on your mind, brother?
Man, like, I've listened to the whole show. First off, I really enjoyed everything y'all covered.
Appreciate that.
My main thing is, and I'm not going to get on here and bash the WWE, because obviously that's where I'm trying to get as an independent wrestler. You know, you never want to burn bridges before you even make them. But the thing, you know, like the Dean Ambrose situation, it's all about creative. You know, it's all about the creative. It has nothing to do with money. Here's a guy that's just like CM Punk. He's budgeted his money. You know, I mean, he's probably a multi-millionaire. He doesn't spend a lot of money. You know, he's married to Renee Young, so they're not hurting financially. I knew, it was like 3 weeks ago, I went to a live event in Charleston, and I saw Dean Ambrose, and he's usually like really, you know, I mean, he's really perky and, you know, happy to be where he's at. When I tell you, when he got out of his car, you could see the misery on his face, and it carried over into his match. His match with Seth Rollins was absolutely terrible.
I'll tell you what,
it was awful.
I didn't think about it until right now,
2
Jeff, now that you're mentioning it. But whenever this whole Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins thing happened a month ago when Roman Reigns, or 2 months ago when Roman Reigns announced the cancer was back, I never really got into the program, and I couldn't figure out why, because Dean Ambrose is great. Seth Rollins is great. But maybe that's the reason why. Maybe Dean's like, you want me to go out here and turn on my dude after my brother announces he's got cancer? Screw you guys. This place sucks. You know, that could have been going back that far, you know?
That's part of it, but another part is, okay, look at, and I hate to keep comparing him to CM Punk, but there's so many similarities to the situation. Here's a guy that was on top. Now they're pretty much making him a jobber. I mean, he's not there yet, but he is on his way. I mean, for God's sakes, you're getting beat up by Nia Jax or whatever, who is too dangerous to work with other women. That's the only reason they have her beating the crap out of these men. She's too dangerous in the ring to work with other women. You know, and this is a guy that has so much potential. I've never been a huge Dean Ambrose fan, but I can respect a guy that actually shows up to work opposed to your Universal Champion that may be there once a month.
I can't argue with that, bro. I can't.
Well,
argue.
I mean, that's the thing. And AEW, you know, he may not go there. He may not go there at all. But it's giving people options that's not utilized properly. It's giving them other options.
Can I interject there for a second?
You know, the New Day is rumored to go to AEW. Will it happen? I'm not for sure. But they're one of the rumors. You know, you got Jack Swagger, which is going by Jake Hager now.
He's not going by. His name's Jake Hager. I mean, that's his name.
He just won his Bellator debut.
Seen that.
He's most likely going to AEW if you, if you listen to his interviews and stuff.
He is actually. I'm gonna hop off on that note, Jeff. Appreciate you calling, bro. Ramble on, man. On that note, yes, Jake Hager did win. I didn't mention that earlier, but Jack Swagger is the ASW heavyweight champion. He's not going to be at this show this Saturday, but you will find Sonny there. You will find Angelina Love there. You will find Barry Windham there. So if you guys ain't doing nothing and you're in the Julian area, I think that's Logan County. Is that right, Derek? Does that sound about right?
That sounds right.
Go check that out. Once again, Jeff James, thank you so much for calling. Brian, what was you trying to get in there a second ago? I know he was going 90 miles a minute.
I was going to say that, I seen pretty much the same show here in Fort Myers, Florida. And Dean Ambrose at that show, he was saying that
for 20 minutes, wasn't it?
It was, and he was saying that his mood was miserable and it carried into his match. Maybe it was just the day, because in Fort Myers, Florida, Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose had a great match, and it was a great event, and he really did awesome things for the fans there with that 15-minute lay down after the curb stomp, and it was a great situation. But I will say this: it's funny. My friend down here by the name of Dave Tyree, huge wrestling fan. I took Dave Tyree with me to the wrestling event, and he was parked in a different area than I was. We met up at the arena, and it just so happened that his vehicle was parked near Dean Ambrose's truck. And Dean Ambrose left the building at the same time that Dave Tyree did. And Dave Tyree ended up being behind Dean Ambrose in traffic there. And he said that Dean Ambrose noticed that he noticed him. And, of course, Dave didn't say anything to him. Dave, wasn't trying to bother the guy. But he did get in his vehicle at the exact same time Dean did, and that Dean thought that maybe Dave Tyree was following him. So he sped out of the area with the quickness to get away from Dave Tyree.
Marks on my tail. I gotta go.
He thought that he had a fan on his tail there, so he sped out of the arena pretty quick.
All right, guys. That's pretty much all the time we have for today. I know we could stay here for another 45 minutes. Derek, you got any final thoughts before we get out of here?
This show's too short, bro.
Dude, we've been here an hour and 20 minutes.
It's not enough rambling about wrestling.
An hour? Who stops the show in an hour and 20 minutes? I thought they were in 30-minute blocks. Don't we have 10 more minutes here?
No, we don't have 10 more minutes here. I'd like to keep the show under an hour for legal purposes. But now that we've added some new segments to the party, and next week we're going to have another new segment I'm excited about. You want to go ahead and tell them about it? Give them a little spoiler.
So long and short of it, there's a lot of guys out in the world that and what really inspired this was Brian's rant a few weeks ago about MJF, about not knowing who he is or where he's from or what he's done. So now I'm going to make it my purpose here on this show to highlight some of these indie talents that no one knows about yet other than the people in those local areas, but I find them.
So you going to give Boink the rub?
No. Boink will never be one of my featured talents on this show, ever.
Okay.
Ever.
You know,
Hey, our buddy from over in England is just now tuning in. Ben Cliff, how you doing, brother? We getting ready to close up shop, man. Appreciate you stopping by, though.
you know, something that we didn't talk about that we totally should talk about is NXT TakeOver.
Well, maybe you should have threw that in your pros or in your cons.
We skipped it completely, and,
Sure,
and
we
I'm
didn't talk
telling
about
you,
the Royal Rumble either. I mean, we briefly. He's
But
just trying like hell to
Ricochet-
get the show to go on longer. Brian, do
Ricochet
you have any
and
final
Johnny
thoughts,
Gargano.
my friend?
Ricochet and Johnny Gargano
He's
was
just,
not on
no
the
selling
Royal
shit
Rumble.
out of me right now.
I know, right? I mean, and speaking of Ricochet and Johnny Gargano, what about that clip that WWE.com released afterwards of the big brawl where Velveteen Dream actually made the appearance even after he said he wasn't going to unless he got noticed for his worth?
Another awesome thing. We didn't even talk about halftime heat. And why did the WWE not mention the Super Bowl? Every year they've been like, the Super Bowl halftime show, the WWE Super Bowl halftime show. Did you notice that they said the big game?
Yeah.
And did you notice that a lot of other people that are doing halftime shows said the big game? What is all of a sudden different about this year that no one is using the word Super Bowl
I think
except
you're
the
overthinking
NFL?
it, dude.
I bet they're gonna rename it. Like, I bet the NFL is planning a big rename, and they're making sure that all of their, people that are promoting it are going to start calling it something else.
Well, see, I wasn't thinking that was going to happen. I was thinking maybe there was a crackdown on the NFL saying, "Hey, we own the word Super Bowl. Don't use it."
That was my thought. If anything, that's probably it right there.
But if you,
But I mean,
wouldn't
have you
want
noticed
people
that it's
talking
never
about
been
it?
like that before?
Well, that don't necessarily work, Dirk. Like if we was to get on here and do a promotion for, let's say, Pepsi, and they didn't want us doing it, they could sue us for using their likeness, even though we're putting them over.
All right.
You know what I mean? It's stupid, but it's a thing.
You gonna sue Vince McMahon if he mentions the Royal Rumble?
You're
and all?
absolutely right. I won't.
Yeah, that's right.
Takeover. You want to say anything else about Takeover while you're stalling to end the show?
How good was that tag match?
That tag match was phenomenal. The whole
You
show
think
was
that
good.
match was phenomenal. You should see me naked. Now that's phenomenal.
Hey, one more thing I got to say about Takeover, and I just got to get Derek's opinion. Well, this is called the Royal Ramble. I'm allowed to ramble, am I
You
not?
are allowed to ramble.
Derek Jones.
But I'm just saying, there's a possibility that you may lose connection. I'm just saying.
The
Maybe interference.
Belair, Bianca Belair. Are you with me on that?
Yeah, Bianca Belair.
Okay. When we were going into that match with Shayna Baszler, I was like, why is she getting this shot? I was with Sam Roberts. And did you hear Sam Roberts' rant on her?
Yeah.
I was with him. I was like, yeah, totally. I totally
Not
agree.
me.
After the match,
She's quality.
I changed my entire opinion. I could not believe how awesome she did at TakeOver. I was so happy that she was so awesome at TakeOver.
The
I was
problem
incredibly
is
impressed.
she had never been in a real match with anybody that could push her where she needed to go. Shayna Baszler did that.
Okay, let me ask you this. Do you think that her hair really cut Shayna Baszler's stomach? Do you think
No.
that was a work?
That's totally a
Because
work.
That was hilarious.
But here's
when she had a cut.
Rewatch that match. How talented is she to be able to do everything she does and hold her hair at the same time? Because she holds it most of the match.
Is that her
I
actual
agree.
hair or is
Yes,
that a weave?
That's real.
Really?
The real deal.
No.
The
There's
real
no
deal.
way. There's no way that's her real hair.
Look into it.
There's no way. I don't know. It's got to be a weave. Has to be.
Real deal.
Oh
How-
wow! I got to
where do
drop
you
this
look
out here.
into that?
See, Cody Smith, you couldn't get me. You couldn't get me over there, but Cody Smith has. He says unpopular opinion, but he's not too fond of Aleister Black at all. That surprises me, man.
Dude, pull his picture back up.
Why? Does he look like Aleister Black?
I mean, just look at the dude. Dude's covered in tattoos.
There you go.
Like
Sleeve there.
got the cut off, got the hat. I mean, Aleister Black looks like the. I mean, I'm profiling here obviously because I got tattoos and everything else as well, and that's one of the reasons I like Aleister Black. I like his look. Not even just his in-ring ability, but he has that look that I'm drawn
looks to me like a long lost brother of Pat McAfee.
Shut your mouth.
I'm just saying.
Cut
that's
this
what it
show
looks
off.
like to me.
Get rid of
You know what? He does kind of look like Pat McAfee. I
you.
did notice that.
Thank you,
He
Brian.
does kind of look like Pat McAfee. But I will tell you this. When I see Aleister Black, I think of the future. Honestly, I believe that Aleister Black is one of those guys who are going to be the future of the WWE. You want somebody, honestly, if you want to push some people to the moon, Aleister Black, Tommaso Ciampa, Ricochet, those are your next Austin and Rocks right there, in my opinion.
He called me a young man.
Who called you a young man?
Cody Smith.
Wow, what did
He said, I go by talent, young man. If you go by talent, Aleister Black is still one guy you should like.
Oh, my God. Look at this.
Aleister
Look
Black
at this.
is incredible.
Jones. Michael Loving done got beat last week. He got your name right, though.
He got my name
He says,
right.
Derek Jones, you're lucky Mike Loving was in the Royal Ramble early. You would have been scared to face the great one in trivia knowledge.
I could have answered every question you got wrong, bro. You
Mike Loving's picture is hilarious. That his Facebook picture is just like everything that defines Mike Loving. You couldn't have picked a better one, Mike.
No, that's a good one for sure. Guys, we're almost at the hour and a half mark, so I'm going to go ahead and close up shop here. Derek, do you got any
That's where we
final thoughts
should
before we
close.
get out of here?
2-hour shows from now on.
Brian, you have any final thoughts before we get out of here?
2-hour shows from now on.
I'll just let you guys know this is not a democracy, so you guys can kiss my ass, all right?
Okay. Okay.
Next week on the show, I didn't tell you guys what the topic was going to be. Next week on the show, I'm excited because the topic next week is who has the best wrestling family in wrestling other than the McMahons? I mean, the McMahons is an easy pick if you ask me, but other than the McMahons. There's a lot of choices you can go with. Von Erichs, the Rhodes.
Hold on. Can we go with like extended families as well? Okay.
Sure.
Cool.
The Maivias and the
right, because I mean, there's some that are like married in, and there's uncles of some.
Sure.
And, I want.
I'm excited.
That's not it's not the Maivias, John Covey Cole. It's the Inoki.
I can't pronounce that, so I say Maivias. So you shut up, Brian.
Well, you also can't use then and then right as from that graphic.
Wow, he really just
Call me
live on the show.
Call me a grammar Nazi. Call me a grammar Nazi.
What an asshole.
I'm sorry, John. I'm so sorry.
Anyway, guys, that's all the time we have for today. I have to go and get my crew back in check because they're fucking. Oh, see, got me torn out.
Sean Bowman said 2.5-hour shows. I'm with you, Sean Bowman.
2.5-hour shows.
Did John Covey just drop the F-bomb?
Shut up, Brian.
John Covey dropped the F-bomb on the Royal Ramble. This is a remarkable time. This is almost as bad as I said. I like to watch two dogs.
Breaking news.
Anyway, guys, we will see you guys next week. Before we get out of here, we're going to let you guys see a little bit of action from WVCW this past week. We will see you guys next week. We will say who has the best wrestling family other THAN, the McMahons. Have a good week. How you doing?
I love you, John Covey.
Love you
love you, John Covey.
Love you back, brother-in-law.
I've been waiting all my life just for this one night to show I can do it. So let's get to it. I got the heart of a champion. I got the heart of a champion.
I know.
Here we are, Brother
You said that.
Huckabee, in the first match of the WVCW Live Championship Tournament.
Here we go. We got two young guys from Glasgow, Scotland, Murphy Costigan, and then from East Africa by way of the fictional country of Wakanda. What is it? Prince Simi Mutuma.
Fictional, brother. I saw it on the TV. I know it's real.
It's real if you believe it's real. Here we go. First match. Prince Simi just nice collar and elbow lock up. Just backed Murphy into the corner. They're
Simi getting this
resetting.
crowd right behind him.
This crowd here in Bluefield is all behind the Prince from Wakanda. I wonder if they know that that's a fictional country.
They saw it on the TV too.
So they saw it must be real. Up. Nice arm drag. Reminiscent of Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Deep arm drags there. And the buckled up again.
Has a nice key lock right there on that arm.
The thing about Prince Simi is he's a stout young man. He's built. He's kind of a little bit shorter, but he's stocky. Got that power.
Exactly.
Low center of gravity.
He's built like a college lineman, a football lineman. Low center of gravity, broad, wide shoulders, big, huge back.
And the crowd loves him. Ooh, huge splash there in the corner by the Prince.
There it goes. He's getting the crowd behind him. What in the? Oh, Murphy's doing the back. Oh, knee to the gut.
Quick pin there by Costigan.
Quick pin, got the 2 count. Oh, there he is, working the knee.
Working the knee. Doesn't matter how small the center of gravity is. If you can't stand, you can't wrestle.
Exactly. Well, you can probably, I don't know. There was a man, there was a guy once with no legs and stuff in the NCAA tournament.
How'd he do?
He actually won.
Well, good job for him.
I think that saying's out of the way. If you don't have any legs, you can win. But if you got legs and they're hurt, you can't.
Yeah, a man learns to use his legs, and when the leg's taken away.
There's Murphy Costigan just working the knee.
Murphy having no concern about the rules of a wrestling match, wrapping his knee around the rope there.
Exactly. It's a very veteran move by such a young wrestler. You think he learned that in Scotland?
I think so. I think some of those great Scottish wrestlers passed that down to him.
He has a very soccer hooligan vibe to him. Reminiscent of Fit Finley.
I've been waiting all my life just for this one night to show I can do it. So let's get to it.